So you can't get on me for this one, bitches, because this movie requires to be reviewed in a car. Because it's about cars. I'm talking about Fast and the Furious 10, aka Fast X, aka FX, aka it's Fast X. They decided to call it Fast X. Very missed opportunity to not call it FX. Especially because I heard the next one is going to be like FX Part 2. I don't know if they'll put 11 in the title. Will they? I don't know. It's a two-parter film. Although, just recently rumored, Vin Diesel says it might be a three-parter. And, well, we'll get into talking about that. Because I can't talk about this movie unless I don't have to spoil it. But I'll be doing a spoiler review. I don't want to be a dick and spoil it now. So I'm going to do non-spoiler. I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy, guys. Come on, I swear, I'm a nice guy. I promise. I'm going to talk about this movie non-spoilers, because I'm kind, and I don't want to spoil this movie for anyone, because there are big Fast and Furious fans, and there are some big things that happen in this movie, most of it near the ending, but there's a lot of things to talk about here. I did the last Fast and Furious review with Angel. I was driving home from Dallas today, since I was the one to drive, so I didn't want to record the review while I'm driving from Dallas. I really need to focus when I'm doing it. But if I'm driving from a place I know, there's no one on the goddamn road, I'm not really looking at you, I'm focused on the road. You're just hearing me talk. I'm giving out my thoughts while I drive. That's how I do it. And then, yeah, what I could say really is, I am mixed on this film. I'm a bit mixed. I'm a bit mixed on it right now, because here's the thing: I really have fun with Fast and Furious movies. I've grown up with them for a while. My parents took me to go see Fast and Furious 6 in theaters, and ever since then I've been a fan. Like, I remember going back to watch 1 through 3, and then I think once 7 came out, I watched 4 and 5. Then I watched 6 again. I've never seen them like all in order. I never binged them all, like 1 through like 10 in like one go, or 1 through 9 plus like Hobbs and Shaw ever in my life. But I did just recently go to my friend Angel's house, and we watched 5 through 7 to get ready for this one. It would have been cool if he saw 8. There's just a few hints of 8 in here for a few different reasons and why. But we did not watch Fast and the Furious 8 before seeing Fast 10 today. And the reason for that being is we just did not have time. We had to get to the screening there early. Honestly, we may have had time, but if we did push that extra 2 hours, I don't know. We would have probably gotten in, but we wouldn't have gotten the seats we wanted. God damn, that guy was fast and furious. But no, I really don't know what to say, because I had a lot of fun. This was 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it kind of flew by, honestly. I was suffering like a minor headache, and usually when I have a headache, dude, movies feel like they take fucking forever. I remember having a headache at House of Gucci. I'm like, this movie's already long. It feels like 4 hours, though. Holy shit. This movie is apparently 2 hours and 20 minutes, and I thought that it flew by. I was like, oh shit, this shit feels like it started. It has so much going on that maybe that's why it feels very quick, but it didn't ever like get on my nerves. I was consistently like invested, entertained, or at least interested in what they would do, because you always got to be a little interested, like what the fuck are they gonna do in the next film where you're just like, holy shit, like I can't believe this is what they're doing. This is batshit insane. There's some batshit insane stuff here, that's for sure, and hands down, people are going to be talking about a lot of things that happen here, but it's never like annoying, nosy, or always in your face awful. Like, it's not awful, everything that happens here. I thought 9 was pretty boring. 9, other than like the flashback sequences, which I thought were okay, and you know, like when it gets really crazy, sometimes you can get a good laugh with your friends. Like when fucking Vin Diesel pulls down 2 pillars with his bare hands, it's like, come on, dude, fuck. that shit had me and my friend dying. Again, my friend Angel, who I went to go see both of these with. And seeing this one, it's not nearly as crazy. In fact, it goes to that level, I would say, like Fast Furious 7 or 8 or like, it's ridiculous at a lot of times, but it's not like the furthest pushing they went. This isn't 9, nor is this an actual like superhero sci-fi film like Hobbs and Shaw. It's not those levels, but it is pretty crazy, and for a lot of good reasons. I'm gonna go, and there's 5 separate storylines. 5? Is there 5? Let me think of them really quick off the top of my head. I'm hitting 4 right now. Okay. There might be 5. We're going to break them down because I got like a good amount of time to review this. So, let's start with the main story here. The basic plot, Fast 10, Fast X, FX, whatever you want to call it. It's Fast X, but I'm going to call it FX because I think FX is a better title. The main plot of FX is basically in Fast 5, they're getting a giant vault from the Reyes family, and they were stealing the money, and then Vin Diesel, knocks a bunch of cars off, and the father, Reyes, ends up getting killed. But what happens is one of the people driving those cars, the one with the turret specifically in it, had Jason Momoa in it, who plays the son of Victor Reyes, who is the leader in Fast 5 of, he runs, basically, Rio de Janeiro. So now, his fucking mentally insane, unstable son, who's been to, insane asylums, as they mentioned in this movie, he's the new villain, and because he was knocked out, he's out for revenge on Dom and his family and all that shit, because why not? And I gotta say, if there is a standout, since I'm talking about Jason Momoa as Reyes' son, Dante Reyes, I gotta give this motherfucker credit. He is the fucking reason to purchase a ticket to this movie. If there is a reason you should go out and see this movie, it is Jason Momoa. He is having a blast. He's playing this goofy, quirky, really hyperactive role that feels like a cross between a Barbie doll and the Joker. It is so fucking weird, and I respected the hell out of it constantly. It is a weird role, and while the movie is messy and his fucking plot is just so dumb and basic, they clearly just threw it together, I respect his performance. It was constantly making me laugh. Anytime he was on screen, I was like, this movie's fucking great. I'm loving this shit. When he's not on screen, mixed film. It's a very, very mixed bag. More, I would say, negative than positive. And that has to do a lot with the amount of stories we have and the fact that this doesn't feel like a conclusive movie. Obviously, it's a two-parter, so it doesn't have to be conclusive. But I mean, this movie ends, it's like, oh, it fucking ends. Oh, that's it. Okay, gotcha. I'll see you in a year or two. I guess that's where I'm ending with. It's not like Infinity War when it ends, or Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1, or Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 1. Those feel like endings that are conclusive to their films and do have stakes left at the ending. Here, I guess there is stakes, but it's just kind of nah. It feels like he threw all the worst shit that can happen to us to be oh my god, is everyone going to be okay? Oh, over. Okay. I guess I see what you're doing. And by the way, there's already leaks out. One thing that was big that got ruined online was revealed. I saw it and I was like, oh, I'm sure it's just a small thing. And it's not. It's a big thing. It's a big thing in the way it comes in. Stay for the mid-credit scene. Trust me, you're going to want to see it. But whoa, I didn't think we were going there for a while. But I'm not disappointed. Hey, shit, you're getting me back in. It gives me some investment and interest to go see it. But a lot of the things that happen in this movie feel like last note drafts. It feels like this movie happened during a writer's strike. And technically it's coming out while a writer's strike is going on. But this movie just feels like a jumbled fucking mess. And 9 did too, but 9 had a primary focus. This has 5 separate storylines happening, and you kind of just have to take that. We have the agency that Mr. Nobody works for. Mr. Nobody's kind of disappeared. We don't know where they went. They don't really say. And his daughter is played by Brie Larson, and she's taking over. But there's this new guy running it, this really buff guy called Ames, and this guy is trying to hunt down Vin Diesel because they blame him for this attack that happens in Rome. But if you see in the trailer what happens in Rome, and obviously who the villain is Jason Momoa, he blows up Rome, and it's actually his fucking scheme and plot. But they're all blaming it. The agency's going against Dominic Toretto and his family. And on top of that, Cypher is back. Cypher's not necessarily a bad or good guy. She's kind of just got taken over by Jason Momoa. So she's still evil and she's done some fucked up shit. They're not going to unacknowledge that. But the character obviously needs some fixing, if you know what I'm saying. The character definitely needs... She will get her head fixed. I'm sure she'll be a good person by the time the next movie rolls around. She's still not at that level, but I can say she's not the villain of this movie. Jason Momoa is purely the villain of this movie. And then there's other storylines like John Cena, because the agency is going to attack his family, but simultaneously is that trying to capture their family. Jason Momoa has this new army of people, and he wants them to go kidnap fucking Vin Diesel's son and practically maybe even kill him. So what do they have? John Cena, as we saw in the last movie, who's Vin Diesel's brother, is gonna take Dominic's son, Brian, and get him to a better place. He's gonna protect him. They're gonna go to the rendezvous point that they set up in the last film. And so we have our little arc with which the John Cena and Brian stuff, Vin Diesel's son stuff. That stuff was cute. It felt like a Spy Kids movie at times. I was like, this is really weird. The CGI and shit doesn't get quirky and crazy like those movies, but it had that mentality of a PG movie where you have a lot of action, but you have the babysitter who's the really buff wrestler guy like John Cena. And John Cena's role was fun. Again, I think I put my letterbox review. I said, thank you, Jason Momoa and John Cena, for saving me from disliking this movie even more. Because, I don't hate this movie because there are fun things. A lot with them. And then on another adventure. So when they go off to Rome in the beginning for this attack and this thing that they're trying to stop on this mission, it actually is a trap. But the people who go out for it are Ramsey, Tej, Roman, and Han. And Roman wants to be the leader. He kind of says that in 7. He kind of hints at it in 9. Roman is the leader in this one of this like mission that they're going to do. And everyone blames Roman for this fuck up of a mission because the Rome attack happened, and now they're off on their own thing in London trying to help out everyone from the other side. Han goes back to face Jason Statham, and Jason Statham, after he finds out his mother might be in danger, is on the run. I'm not even kidding. Jason Statham's role is what I just said, so I guess that's a spoiler. He shows up, Han and him have a fight, and then they fight these other people, and Statham is off. Like, he's barely in the movie. And it's because a lot of this is set up for a next movie. You can just tell the way they ended things. I have so many questions, because it isn't a conclusive film, and I don't really know where any of it is going. It feels like this film would be better had they filmed both back-to-back, and we knew another cut was coming in 3 months. Like, if we knew a cut was coming soon, it would be, like, really fucking great. Like, you know when Stranger Things Part 1 ended, and you're like, that feels like a conclusive ending. I could wait this off till next season. But simultaneously, we're getting the last 2 episodes in a month, and that'll feel even more conclusive. And it did. That really worked. This is not as conclusive as Part 1 of Stranger Things. And that one came out a month. We have 2 years to wait, and I still just don't know necessarily, like, what the idea is going to go to. I could make theories once I see it again, but it's kind of all over the place. There are a lot of subplots and sub-stories that you jump between, and a lot of fun moments, and a lot of new characters and old characters. Like, it's going to be fun. When the final film comes out, I'm telling you, I can already tell it's going to happen. Every motherfucker that you know is going to pull up in a car that you've loved from this franchise, and there's going to be a giant endgame. And it seems like Jason Momoa is our main villain to the end, which I am fine with, because this villain is fucking excellent. The villains through these movies have been all really mid. I would say Deckard Shaw and Cypher probably been my 2 favorites, which are Charlize Theron and Jason Statham. They're still not great villains. They're always very average. But Jason Momoa leaves like an impression. He has a personality, and he has a very unique take on a villain. It's very different than what I thought, and I had fun with him. If you can't make your villain like a well-developed villain, either do what High Evolutionary is and like Guardians, make him truly fucked up where you just hate him and you want to see him lose, or make him like, this guy's really fun, but like, this motherfucker is insane. Like, just have fun with him. Like, you can only do one or the other. Because he was very mentally developed. But, fuck yeah, like, I don't know what to say. It's a lot. What does work the most, as I mentioned, is Jason Momoa and John Cena. Their moments are fun. I like this little, like, quirky adventure that feels like a movie like The Pacifier or like My Spy, where it's like, you know, you have this big buff guy taking care of a kid. It feels like that. And those moments are only like 20 minutes of the movie, if even that. It's very small amounts of the movie that have those scenes. But when they are, it's really fun. It's cool to have like an uncle-nephew relationship. I have a nephew who like lives at my house with me, and I don't know. I thought that was adorable. I'm like, I could be John Cena. It just had that fun feeling to it. And Jason Momoa is just, the audience will laugh at every joke he had. Like, I can definitely tell you, when this movie comes out, the thing that you're going to see everyone praising online, in memes, on Twitter, if there is things to praise, it's going to be John Cena, or Jason Momoa. That's going to be the fucking person that everyone's going to be talking about once this film is out. Because Jason Momoa goddamn nails it. This is my favorite Jason Momoa role, maybe. And it might be in a film that I expect to get awful reviews. We'll have to see where critics land. Because I'm mixed too, because it's not really a movie, and it also has a horrible story. And it's not like I expect anything better from the Fast and Furious movies. They're meant to be dumb. They're meant to be these, like, wacky, giant budget adventures for the fans who love them. And I do love these films. I have a lot of fun with them. Like, obviously I said, I watch them all. I own them all. I wouldn't watch them more if I didn't like them. So I obviously have fun with them. It's just, like, it is a lot to take in. I'm really curious to see where we go next. But this did, at least I'll say, by the ending of the film, I was like, that's confusing. I did not like that ending at all. That's a fucking stupid mess, and it needs more explanation. But simultaneously, I have to give it credit. Even though I didn't like the explanation and the ending and all that shit, and where it ends up, I still want to see more. They made me want to actually go to the next film, like, right now. Like, I want that film now, but I have to wait a while, and so does everyone else. There's also a cameo in here. Not super funny. It's kind of like a cameo where you're like, okay. Like, it got some chuckles from the audience, and when that person showed up, everyone was like, oh, what the fuck? It was funny that this person's in it, but yeah, it's just something there. Maybe this person was announced already, but I didn't know, but I don't think I heard anything about it. Also to mention, because she is announced in the cast and she's on the poster, I can talk about Daniela, is it Daniela Melchior? Daniela Melchior? I can never say her last name. But she's really good in the Suicide Squad as Ratcatcher 2. She was just had a small role in Guardians, and she has a decent role in this, like a little role. And I'm interested to see what they could do with her character and how they expand on her. She's very minimally developed. I won't say who she is because that would be a spoiler, but she was a decent character, so I'm interested to see what they would do with her if they decide to do more with her. She got some decent chuckles, and she clearly has an emotional relevance to the story, is what I'll say. So I'm curious to see what they do with her. The race I will say, the big race that they've hyped up a lot in the trailer, they do a show where everyone's looking through the car doors, and they're going to have this race again in Rio. That is very minimal. It's not even really a race. I won't say what happens during it, but I guess if you're wanting your big drag race moment, it wasn't like the grandest thing, technically, but for what it is, it does set up conflict, and I guess it works for where the story is going, what you can call a story. Another thing, Michelle Rodriguez is mostly off in this movie on her own thing, and they cut only back to it a few times where you saw her fighting Charlize Theron in the trailer. That's mostly where she is. I won't say where that leads to, but that was probably my least favorite thing to cut back to every time. I was just like, okay. It really feels like it's just so against the plot, and I'm sure they'll write a way to connect it in the next one and it'll make more sense, but where they're at with it now, I'm just like, okay. I don't know why we had to separate her. It feels kind of weird without her. It just feels like a random separation that we have to have for even more conflict. Again, too many subplots, a messy story. I saw from the reactions before the movie started, because like reactions were just coming out from the premiere. Some people were calling this the worst Fast and Furious film. I'm sorry, but you clearly haven't watched Fast and Furious 4, and you clearly haven't watched F9. I think F9 is way more boring, and even though there's technically it's a more focused film, it was like way less entertaining than this. Like, damn near, I could say this is more rewatchable, just for like how fast-paced it is and some of the really great moments, and Jason Momoa alone. So, I'm curious where this goes. I am. I think we'll have to really see before I can get a full judgment. I almost feel like you can't rate this movie on its own, because it doesn't even feel like a movie. It feels kind of, it's like how Dune Part 1 is, where it kind of ends in this moment where you're like, okay, but even then, Dune 1 feels more climactic than this. You'll see what I mean when you see it, but yeah, for me right now, I'm at a 6 out of 10. I am positive on it because I had fun. If I didn't have a fun time and Jason Momoa wasn't the role he was doing, I would probably be shitting on this movie as much as I did F9, and maybe even more. But I have to think I had a fun time, and I had a fun time with my friends. I might go see it one more time with another friend who has recently become a Fast and Furious fan. I'll have to ask him if he wants to go, because I am curious to see his reaction to a few things in this film. I mean, yeah, there's nothing to write home about. It's a dumb fucking movie, some dumb fucking things, but you might have a fun time with it. I'm not going to disconcert. If you're a big Fast and Furious fan, I don't see why you wouldn't like it. The audience applauded at the ending of this film. This wasn't an early screening audience and big fans, so of course it's going to be more impactful no matter what, but they still enjoyed it, and I can tell you the audience had a fun time, as did I. So it's not awful. I didn't hate it at all. Yeah, 6 out of 10 is where I'm standing right now. I'll do a spoiler review next Thursday or Friday. I'm going to try and see Fool's Paradise, and next Wednesday I have an early screening. Let's fucking pray I can get to it. But if I can get to it, I will definitely try. And if I think I'm going to be able to get to it, but in case I don't, I don't want to hype it up too much, but there's a potentiality that I might be seeing this film called Joyride. I heard amazing things out of CinemaCon. I heard amazing things out of South by Southwest. I think it still holds like an 85 Metacritic and 100% of Rotten Tomatoes or something. And the trailers look pretty funny, so I'm very interested to see what that's like. So I'm not going to say 100% you'll get a review, but maybe you will, because I might be able to see it. We'll have to see. Put that on a side note, but for sure a Fast and Furious spoiler review next week. And I'm going to try and see Fool's Paradise, Hypnotic, and maybe Book Club too. I don't know. We'll have to see. All those feel like movies I could wait for home. I try to see everything in theaters, but if I don't get to see them, it's not going to be like, holy shit, I'm so sad I missed Hypnotic and Book Club too. Fuck no, I'm not going to be sad about it. It's not like I'm missing like Spider-Verse. But yeah, expect a Fast and Furious spoiler review sometime soonish. And yeah, for now, I guess that's it. know when the review because I'm driving and I'm on the highway. So you know what? Actually, I'll mention one more thing before I go. I'm gonna go to Texas Frightmare soon. I'm excited for it. I'm debating on if I want to do a vlog on it. So maybe you can expect a vlog from that when Texas Frightmare comes around. I am pissed. They announced an Alamo Drafthouse screening because it's gonna be in Irving, Las Colinas, in Texas, and they announced a screening too, actually, of They Live, John Carpenter film, and The Thing, John Carpenter film, because John Carpenter is going to be at Frightmare, and they're screening those movies at Las Colinas Theater, and they're going to play both movies and have a 30-minute Q&A after. And the tickets apparently went on sale this morning, and they're already gone, and they're putting it in the bigger theaters there. Here's the thing, it's on Thursday, so I don't have that day off, so I couldn't make it anyway, but I'm just pissed, because that sounds fucking awesome. I would love to go to a screening of either one. Is some of my favorite horror movies ever. I adore They Live, but speaking of adore, I think fucking The Thing is a masterpiece, and I would love, I've seen it in a theater before, but seeing it in a theater, like an Alamo Drafthouse, getting good food, and they have so much better like sound and seats, and they always play cool shit before the movie, and John Carpenter would be there in the audience, and he has a Q&A after. I'm sorry, that just sounds like too good to be true. I'm kind of fucking pissed I can't. Hopefully they announce something else cool. Like, I wouldn't mind if they did a screening of The Nun with Bonnie Aarons, or they did an Evil Dead movie there and Sam Raimi shows up. Like, that would be dope as fuck too. So it's probably not going to happen, but if it is, I need to keep my eye on the lookout, because like, I'm still excited for Frightmare, but I'm bummed I missed that. I can't lie. Is there any more announcement? Oh, one more thing, I guess. Yeah. So I'm contemplating doing a Spider-Man ranking video on all the Spider-Man movies. That doesn't include Venom and Venom 2. I am talking Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire trilogy, Andrew Garfield 2 movies, the Tom Holland trilogy, and Spider-Verse. I'm thinking about doing a ranking. But I would want to rewatch every film before that. And I don't know if I'm going to have time. So if I do the ranking and I don't see them, I hope no one, and I don't see them all in time. I'm going to try and rewatch at least most of them. If I don't see them all in time, I hope y'all know it's not like I have a bias because I saw something else, but I didn't get to rewatch this one. Like, my mind isn't fully directly there. I already have an idea of what my ranking is. I can rank it for you right now and tell you. But I just want to make sure, for sure the ones I want to rewatch to make sure are 1 through 3 of Tobey Maguire's, Andrew Garfield's first one, and then I want to watch Far From Home and Spider-Verse. Once I see those, I'll know my official ranking. I think I already have it, but those are the ones I for sure need to rewatch. I think I have my idea of where I know where Amazing Spider-Man 2 is going to be, and I can tell you where Homecoming is going to be. So that's not a hard thing, but I want to confirm for sure on all those other ones that I got them in the right places. So maybe a Spider-Man ranking. So yeah, sorry that I talked like 5 minutes over. I can end the video right now because I'm off the highway and I'm slowing down. But thank you for watching my Fast and the Furious review. I hope you enjoyed it, even though it's dark, but I hope you just listened to my thoughts while I'm driving. And I hope you enjoyed my thoughts. And it's hard to talk about, so when I get to do a spoiler review, I think that'll be much more fun. When I do that spoiler review, I am not sitting down in the fucking car. I actually am going to write out some notes and thoughts so I can talk about this like in depth, like in my house. I'll get like my microphone set up. Like, I actually want to talk about it and not just on the phone in my car like this. I know I've done a lot of videos like this. It's just been easier for me in my time and schedule. But for that one, I do want to actually talk about some things for Fast and Furious. And yeah, that'll be fun. I'm very interested and excited to discuss that. I'm curious what the reception of this film is going to be, because it looks like review embargo hasn't dropped, but it looks like social media embargo has dropped, at least from what I'm seeing. I'm not 100% certain of that. I'll have to go check Rotten Tomatoes. Maybe reviews have already dropped, but I don't think they have. Yeah, that's it. Thank you guys. In case you reminder, my score, I gave it a 6 out of 10. I'll see you guys this upcoming week for either a spoiler review or maybe you'll get that Joyride review. Who knows? Ta-ta.